Hello, everybody. Hope we're all doing fantastically well. Why is there an echo? It begins. Right, if you guys can hear that. Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. Are we all right? We good? I think we're good. We're back, everybody. It's Connor. It's one Leeds. I'm feeling a little bit rusty. I'm feeling a little bit out of practice. That is because I have been away for 10 days. That is 10 days that I have not been on the channel, which has been the biggest break I have had from YouTube since I've started the One Leeds Fan Channel. I hope you're all doing fantastically well. Yes, we are back with the intro. We are back with the review. We are back with the interaction. We are back with the engagement. We are back with another Leeds United match reaction. Feels good to say. Hope you're all doing well, everybody. All right, mate. Good to have you back, says Demar. Hello, Demar. Cap catchers in the building. Everyone smash a like and show the love for Connor. Thank you so much, mate. Listen, if all of you could smash a like, that'd be absolutely fantastic. I got off a long-haul flight. Long-haul flight, he says he just came from Greece. But Greece is quite a long flight, 4 hours. It's quite a long flight. I've done Australia, I've done America, I've done Singapore, but I don't know, it felt a bit long. Maybe it's the time zones. In terms of, 2 hours there, I'm talking rubbish. But listen, it felt like a long flight. Leeds Bradford Airport. People on the flight who watch the channel, which is absolutely mad. Shout out to everybody who I met yesterday. Listen, we're back with another match reaction. What did I do? I watched the Wolves game in a bar in Skiathos, was going nuts as I normally as I normally do when I watch Leeds United. Yesterday was another event where I was going absolutely mental in a bar for positive and negative reasons. I'm sure you guys will come to understand in this video. We're going to be chatting everything about Jesse Marsch and his words. We're going to be chatting everything about the positives of what I've seen so far in pre-season. We're going to be chatting about a few things that I'm a little bit concerned about, and yeah, that's what we're going to do today. You guys know that I'm here. If you don't want to watch this video, if you're thinking to yourself, listen, Connor, he's always talking about this, he's always talking about that, and I'm not a big fan of it, don't watch the video, guys. But thank you to everybody who does watch the videos. It means a hell of a lot to me. I know there's been a load of you guys messaging me, asking me where I've been. I just need a little bit of a break, so there we are. Hi, Connor. Nick's in the building, says, I hope holiday was good. Back to talking Leeds United. Yeah, I've missed your channel. Thank you, mate. Yeah, let's all laugh at Man United. Let's do that. That was brilliant, wasn't it? That was brilliant. We're in the airport and it was going absolutely mental when that happened. It was absolutely fantastic. Kaline says, good to meet you in the airport, mate. Loves this channel. Yes, buddy. Yes. I met a few in the channel. I'll have to... Which one were you, mate? Which one were you? But I did meet you at the airport. Shout out to all of you. There's so many great Leeds fans in Skiathos and listen at the airport and all this sort of stuff. Fantastic to see. Welcome back. Aronson looks amazing. Adams and Rocker look solid. Rodrigo looking strong, mate. So I'm sure you've got opinions from other channels. I'm sure you've got viewpoints from other outlets, from other media places and all this sort of good stuff. But I feel like you guys want to hear my take on a few things. So I'm about to release the Kraken, if you will, on my takes of yesterday. So straight off the bat, as you can tell, I'm probably a little bit rusty. I'm waffling. I do this quite often anyway. But we're going to get into my thoughts on what I've seen so far. So positives. Positives. I really like the press. Really like the press, what I'm seeing now. I'm seeing an idea. I'm seeing a philosophy. I'm seeing an ethos. I'm seeing every player buy into it. I'm seeing a Jesse Marsch imprint on this side, which is great to see. I felt at the end of the Bielsa era, really, we started moving away from a lot of the stereotypical things that Bielsa imprinted in this side, the expansiveness, the overlaps, everything sort of seemed to be degrading rapidly under Marcelo Bielsa. Jesse Marsch came in, we didn't really see anything for me. We didn't see anything. It was almost like a mixture of both systems together. We didn't really know what we're about to see. What we're seeing this year is a clear identity, a clear way of playing, a clear way of going about things and winning matches. And you can see it from the stands, clearly, from you guys who've been there. You can see it when you watch it on the TV, like I have done. There's an obvious way Leeds United are going about things, and I think that's really great. It's almost harking back to the start of the Bielsa era, where there is a plan there. There is a notion of how Leeds are going to go about things and how we're going to execute games. What else have I seen? I've seen fantastic performance from Jack Harrison yesterday. I think Jack has been superb since the season started because you guys know on this channel, I'm always talking about Jack Harrison. I'm always saying I think he should be improving this, that and the other. I think he stepped up since Rafinha's left. I think he's been absolutely superb. The Wolves game, I thought he was very good. Yesterday, I thought he was phenomenal. Best player on the pitch for Leeds United. And I'll give credit where credit's due. No one on this channel who appears on this channel, me, myself, I don't have an agenda. I try to look at football objectively. If someone's done well, I'll give them credit. If they haven't done well, I'll call them out on it. And I'm about to do it in this video as well. About a certain individual who I thought last week made some correct decisions. This week, ballsed it up. Big time. Okay, so we're going to get through these individual aspects. I don't have an agenda against anybody. I support everybody at the club. But where there comes praise, where you can praise individuals, you can't be a snowflake and not accept criticism. That's not real life. You and your job, if you do something right, you're going to get praised. But you're also going to, there's going to be aspects of your job which you don't do right, and you're going to have criticism. That's it. That's how everybody improves. That is what we're doing on this channel. We don't beat around the bush, and that is what we're going to be doing. Just a little disclaimer there, because there is a few precious people who don't seem to want certain individuals to warrant criticism. They're getting it on this channel if they need it. You know what I mean? With praise comes criticism as well, of course. Okay, let's get in some more your comments. Morning, Connor. Hello, Nige. Welcome back. Hope you had a great holiday. Yes, I did, mate. I did. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Mark says, stop giving money to Connor. He spends it all on holidays. Mark, I've been on one holiday in about 5 years, mate. So I certainly don't do that. I wish I did. But no, all of your money goes straight into the channel. Hope you've noticed the new mic, the lovely new mic. We've got some new headphones as well here that I'm going to be using on the channel and all this sort of stuff. Sort of good stuff. We've got some lights coming. Guys, I'm always trying to make things better. I'm trying my absolute hardest. So everything you give to me, I, as you can see, put it back into the channel. Rich mid-gaming, 4 points from 6 is amazing. Stop the count now. Europe for Leeds, Championship for Scum. Yeah, love that. Thank you for your donation, mate. 4 points from 6. How do we look at this? 4 points from 6. Before the game yesterday, I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, I'd take a point. After watching how bad Southampton were, I'll be honest, at the end of the game, I was spitting feathers. I was raging. I was fuming. I was angry. It took me a while to calm down. Me and my brother were getting the flight back. We bumped into some Leeds fans. I was bubbling. Absolutely bubbling underneath the surface. I understand. We take away from that Leeds have got 4 points out of 6. I get that. Completely understand that. But when you're in a position where you're 2-0 up, the team that you're playing is worse than the team that you played last season. Miles worse, by the way. They are, for me, they're bottom 3. I couldn't believe how bad they were. I could not believe how bad they were. Hasan Hutel looked completely stressed from minute 1. I didn't understand what they were doing. There wasn't really any top performances from them in the first 60, 65 minutes. I thought Leeds were not in control, because that means we're dictating every ember of the game, but I thought Leeds were comfortable. Some standout performances. I really like Rodrigo as well. As I don't know if I've mentioned that so far. Harrison's been excellent this season. Rodrigo's movement yesterday looked absolutely exemplary, especially for the first goal. Fantastic goal. Second goal as well, peeling off his man, being at the back post. Great finish. You know, striker's instinct finish. Brilliant from Rodrigo. I think he's top scorer in the Prem at the minute. Keep it up, because we don't see it enough. We don't see it enough from Rodrigo. That consistency needs to... his general play, his link-up play, his hold-up play, it's not good. It's not good for me. It's not good. It's too inconsistent. Gives the ball away way too much. But, you know, right place, right time. Fair play to him. But overall, you've got to win that game. You've got to win that game. And I didn't come away from that. And fair play to you Leeds fans who came away from it and said it's a good point. I could not, for the life of me, see that as a good point at the end of the game. After reflection, I can see, look, we've not lost the game, but my expectations are different to that. You know, if my expectations are Leeds, if my side, Leeds United, are going into a season and we've got all these projections about where we're going to be finishing, all this sort of stuff, they're going to be bottom 3 for me. Now, I'm going to make alterations to what I was speaking about when I was making my predictions and stuff like that. I think I put Brentford in the bottom 3. That's obviously not going to happen. They were terrible, Southampton. Terrible. Could barely pass a ball. There was no link-up. Looked like they really missed Armando Broja up there. The midfield was absent. I don't think James Ward-Prowse had a good game. I don't think until the last 20 minutes Kyle Walker-Peters was having a good game as well. They looked awful. They looked absolutely woeful. Leeds, obviously, throughout the game, we're okay. I thought we were building up quite nicely. Defensively, I still think we look a little bit lapsed when it comes to 1v1 situations. We're going to get onto that, of course we are. But what I will say is Bamford hobbles off. Gelhardt's injured. Come on, board. Make a signing up top. I don't want to hear all this. Oh, we're blocking Joe Gelhardt. We're blocking this. We're blocking that. Go get a striker. We need a striker. There's a reason we're after CDK. There's a reason we inquired about Arnau, Callum Wendo. Leeds United have to get a striker. Trust me. Joe Gelhardt, in my opinion, unfortunately there are bouts where he is injured. We saw that last season. There are periods where Joe Gelhardt is injured. We saw that again yesterday, straight away. Not even on the bench. Was it Liam Cooper? Not even in the squad. Patterns, trends, as they always talk about, same thing. Coops is going to be out 4 or 5 times this season, but we're not talking about him. We're talking about going forward. And Patrick Bamford, he came up with a pulled adductor. It looked like, I put out on Twitter. I went, "Are you surprised?" I mean, you're not, are you? We all said at the start of the season. We said on the debrief, it's going to be a miracle, in my opinion, if Pat Bamford gets to 15, 20 games this season. That's my opinion. Because he's always pulling up with something. There's always something, strains, whatever it is, pulled muscles, this, that, and the other. There's always going to be that with Pat Bamford. And you've got Gelhardt, who's a fantastic player. We all know that. And it's difficult for Leeds because you are going to block his almost his progression, really, if you bring another striker in. But that's why you bring a striker who can do all the bits. Can come back in central attacking midfield at points, can play as a shadow striker, can go out wide in a narrow formation, a narrow front four, can hold the ball up. And that's why you bring a striker in like that, who can do all the bits, really, not just goal scoring, not just assists. That's what I keep trying to say to people. It's not about all that, everybody. Of course, it's about getting the odd goal, the odd assist, but everybody in the team needs to contribute that. I like what I've seen going forward, but everybody needs to contribute, and we've seen that so far. But a striker that we need to bring in needs to bring more to Leeds United than just an assist and just goals. That's where I've disagreed with a lot of people. It's not just assists, it's not just a goal, it's not just the goals, it's the general play, it's the hold-up play. Something we didn't have yesterday. We had no hold-up play. Nobody winning free kicks when we were under pressure. That is what I'm talking about when I mentioned before Shea Adams, when I mentioned before Ollie Watkins. Players of that ilk who aren't out-and-out goal scorers, out-and-out people who are going to get you 20, 25 goals a season, but they're going to be available for a decent price and they're going to add to the system. So people like Brendan Harrison can get more goals. People like Jack Harrison can get more goals. Rodrigo, players got Sinistera, maybe even like players like Click. People who can benefit to the system. But we need to get a striker in who, when Bamford is out, needs to replicate those attributes that Paddy brings, which ultimately surrounds hold-up play and linking play. That's what we need. We're not going to go out and get a 30-goal-a-season striker. It ain't going to happen. So for people saying that, so-and-so's rubbish, did you watch him yesterday? Yeah, don't get me wrong, if we're talking about Shea Adams, wasn't great yesterday. We're still able to hold the ball up in the final 20, 25 minutes when Southampton needed it. Won 2 free kicks in the last 15 minutes to win Southampton, to get Southampton up the pitch, to relieve any pressure that Leeds were putting on them. That's what you need. That is what you need in this system. They've got to stop. They've really got to stop. Got to stop this reliance. They really have. They really have, because it's going to hurt us. It is going to hurt. It's not negative. The buzzword everybody likes to relay when you call something out. It needs to happen big time, because it's going to suffer. We're going to suffer with it this season. We really are. Okay, let's have a look at what some of you guys are saying. Leslie says, great to see you, Connor. You've been missed. Hello, Leslie. Hope you're all right. Trevor says, Rocker looks out of gas after 60, 70 minutes. If that continues, we need a midfielder. Guys, why is it so hot as well? I've come back from Skiathos. Look, I'm a classic tourist. I've got a Skiathos hat. And why is it warmer here? What's going on? Speak the truth, Connor. We've played 2 terrible sides so far. I won't say they're terrible, mate. I think Wolves was a good win. I think Southampton, they're awful. They are awful. And when you're 2-0 up with 25 minutes to go, it's not acceptable. My expectations are higher than that as a Leeds fan. My expectations, if we're talking about 10th to 14th, as the chairman's saying, you go to Southampton and you win that game. You do win that game, especially when you looked at Southampton. I couldn't believe how bad they were. And yeah, as I say, you're 2-0 up and all this sort of stuff. Okay, let's get into some of your comments. Lots of overreaction. Obviously, we like to get both sides of the coin here. It's not just one side, obviously. Billy Murphy says, lots of overreaction here, Connor. Still a work in progress. Bamford injury might be a godsend. Now we need a striker. Should have gone for Mitrovic. Yeah, That's one Brownie's always been hammering, Mitrovic. But it is one of those things, everybody, where you've just got to look at the attributes of what we need as a striker. And what I don't want everybody to do in the chat as well is when I'm talking like this, don't take it personally. Don't take it personally. I'm not offending you. I don't hate Leeds United, all this sort of stuff. I'm calling things out that I think will make Leeds better. As I said at the start of the window, for me, we need 8 signings. 8. That's what we needed. To fill out the bench and to fill out the first 11. That's what we needed. To replace that output that someone like Rafinha gives as well. We need to replace what we had with Calvin Phillips. We've done that in 2 players. I love Mark Rocker. I think Tyler Adams is growing into it very, very nicely. I thought he was one of the better players yesterday. But anyway, let's get into it. I just don't want people to take this personally. That you come to some of these match reactions and people get very, very upset with it. But as I said at the start, the press, I think is looking fantastic at the minute. My question to you guys, and I want to get some. The pictures are wonky, Sam, as well. Yeah, sorry, mate. I think it might be the camera, but sorry, mate. When the press stops. This is my question to all of you. When the press stops, okay, which has happened against Wolves when you looked at the second half, the start of the second half, Wolves pushed up about 5 to 6 yards. They started playing more expansively, and they, as I said, they squeezed Leeds a little bit more. So when that press isn't working, like it didn't against Wolves for the first 20 minutes of the second half, like it didn't against Southampton for the past 20, 25 minutes, what do Leeds need to rely on? For me, if your press isn't working, if you can do it for 60 to 65 minutes, which we have been able to do in both games, you need to rely on that defensive stability. You need to rely on the defence to really, really take you through these games. The problem is, in these 2 games, I think Leeds have come under some serious, serious pressure. The first game against Wolves, obviously, when the press wasn't working at the start of the second half, we relied on Ilan Meslier, who made 2, in my opinion, world-class saves, which you do as a goalkeeper. And in the second game yesterday, when we were relying on the defence, we folded. Marsh said yesterday he went to a back 5. I didn't see any structure in a back 5. I just saw Leeds trying to defend for their lives, really. And when we're getting mullered down that right-hand side. We're getting absolutely mullered down that right-hand side. Kyle Walker-Peters is his side. Jack Harrison was struggling, Strout was struggling, and that's that. The subs made a big difference for Southampton, and we'll get onto that in a little bit. But as I said, the XG yesterday, Southampton's was 1.17 expected goals. Leeds' was 2.61. So that's what. When you're looking at statistics, that's the quantitative way of measuring it. Leeds United were hugely in favour of winning that game. We should have won that game. Possession throughout the full 90, 40 to Southampton, 60 to Leeds. And let's get on to the main bit of it, shall we? Okay. Now, there's going to be a lot of people in here. They seem to think I've got an agenda against Jesse Marsh, which is the most bizarre thing, I think. I mean, if you guys... It's very funny how things work on YouTube and social media. At the start, I was way too pro Jesse Marsh, and I hated Marcelo Bielsa because I wanted a change. Now, because you call things out and there's so many snowflakes on the internet that that it's difficult to do so. Now if I call out Jesse Marsh, criticise Jesse Marsh after I've praised him last week, which I was doing, by the way, in Skiathos for his changes, Greenwood and Click, which changed the game. If I now criticise Jesse Marsh, and this is what I was talking about at the start, with praise, you have to give criticism as well in some aspects. We have that in everyday life. People get really offended. It really, really hurts. It butt hurts people. People get really sensitive about it. Don't watch the videos. Really, really. Every one of my subscribers will tell you, just don't watch the videos, because I will be doing that. I don't care if anybody gets upset by it. It's my opinion. He failed yesterday, and in my opinion, he lost us the game, Jesse Marsh. Now, there's 2 sides of the coin. You start the game, Leeds have got the press, we're working really well, it's looking okay. Bamford comes off, which we all expected anyway. Gelhardt wasn't in the side, which is incredible. He puts Dan James up front, which I don't understand that decision straight off the bat. Then in the second half, it more looked like we went to Rodrigo up top, which obviously started to work. Now, as I've just said to you guys, when they start getting on top from about 65 minutes onwards, Kyle Walker-Peters is getting a lot of joy, and in my opinion, Leeds are looking leggy in the midfield. Someone's already mentioned it in the chat. Rocker looked absolutely knackered. Harrison looked knackered. It was 33 degrees on the south coast yesterday. Leeds have been pressing for 60, 65 minutes. Why is he making changes last week against Wolverhampton Wanderers when he could see Wolves were getting on top? Wolves were dominant in that first 20, 25 minutes. We all know that. He made changes. Fair play to you. Changed the game. But he's now come out and pretty much said to Phil Hay and Graham and Adam after the game that maybe you should have made subs. Well, what do you mean maybe you should have made subs? Why didn't you make subs? Why didn't you make subs? Everybody knew it. Everybody knew that was the moment where you made subs. I literally put on Twitter, I put make subs now. Make subs now about the 55th, 60th minute. Didn't do it. Southampton made changes. 33-degree heat. Leeds have been pressing for 60, 65 minutes. We lose the game. Wow. Mind-boggling. At Leeds draw the game. Felt like a loss. Mind-boggling how that happened, isn't it? So Leeds looked absolutely knackered. In my opinion, you bring on Sinistera, you bring on Matthias Klick. Sinistera is very good at using his body. Matthias Klick is very good at winning free kicks. They're not going to be the hold-up play merchants that you would get from a striker who mirrors those attributes. But those are the type of players that come on and win you free kicks, get Leeds higher up the pitch. We were absolutely running in treacle yesterday for the last 20-25 minutes. So for me, that's a mistake on him. That's his fault. And I think he knew that after the game. I'll tell you what I didn't like after the game. When he said Harrison made a mistake. Well, Harrison also got the assist. Harrison was also the best player on the pitch yesterday. Maybe, just maybe, don't come out and listen. This is once again. Here we go. We're gonna have to say something so people don't get sensitive and upset by this. I'm not having a go at Jesse Marsh here, but I'm saying he warrants criticism after yesterday. You don't come out and call Jack Harrison out for me. You don't do that because he was your best player yesterday. He got the assist yesterday. Okay, got the assist yesterday, made the goal. And I thought throughout the game, yeah, don't get me wrong, he made, you could argue that it was a mistake for Jack, but he looked knackered. He looked absolutely knackered. And you have got the ability on the bench to change those wing options with someone who we brought in for 25 million in the summer, who's fresh and ready to get going. I didn't like how he came out and essentially said that Jack Harrison made a mistake for the goal. You made a mistake by not making any changes, mate. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, everybody. What do you think our inability? James says, what do you think about our inability to retain possession? What I think, James, is, as I've just said it on here, mate, you go out and when the Leeds need to retain possession, when Leeds need that ability to hold the ball up, that is where a striker comes in who, if you're playing direct football, right, which we are under Jesse Marsh, we've seen it, you're playing that direct football to Dan James, that's not going to work up against Salisu and Bednarek. That isn't going to work. So you bring in a striker who is able to hold the ball up. You bring in a striker who is going to challenge Patrick Bamford for this number 9 jersey. Everybody keeps saying to me, well, why would you bring in a striker who's going to be sat on the bench in replacement of Patrick Bamford? He's not going to play. Why is he not going to play instead of Patrick Bamford? If you're bringing in a Premier League striker for good money and we're playing a 4-2-3-1 system and we're playing direct, this guy could challenge Patrick Bamford for the number 9 jersey. That's what I'd be saying to a striker coming in. I'd be saying, look, this is the profile of Leeds United. This is where we want to be this season. These are the signings we've got. And if you play well, it's you against Patrick Bamford for this jersey here. All I'm saying now is Pat's got the number 9 jersey. You're going to be blocking Joe Gelhardt. Well, that's not a sales pitch, is it? If you're Leeds United, you're part of the recruitment team, you're turning around, you're saying, you're challenging him for his number 1 shirt. And I'm thinking as a striker, well, he's out for about 20, 25 games. Last season? 20, 25 games, actually probably more than that. This season he's already out with an injury. If I'm a striker coming in, I'm thinking that's an opportunity. So what we need to be able to retain possession is someone who can hold the ball up as a striker in a direct, narrow, compact formation. That's what we need. A hold-up player who can win free kicks and who can link the ball. That's how you retain possession in the attacking and the offensive third. That's how you do it. Now, when Bamford's off the pitch, we don't have that. I think Gelhardt's half decent at it, but I still don't think he's got the physical presence, the attributes to be as good as Pat is at it, and that's purely down to height and all this sort of stuff. But I think you can definitely move on someone who's going to be better in that respect. Liam, good to see you back. Thank you, mate. Hope you're all right. You are spot on, Connor. Yeah, cheers, mate. I appreciate that. Tashin says, Victor ought to go make that Shea Adams call. Yeah, Blake has said, I told everyone Rodrigo is class. Let's see Blake over a period of time, mate. The jury is still out. I remember KG last season. I always rinse him about this, but KG was like, getting really excited about him, all this sort of stuff. I was like, hold your horses. And then he just went through a barren spell, didn't he, of giving the ball away. And that's all I'm thinking. I like what Rodrigo's doing. I think Jack Harrison's been superb. Love the press. Aronson, good against Wolves. Thought he was poor yesterday. Giving the ball away way too much. Thought he was really bad in possession yesterday. I know a lot of people get the love in and all this sort of stuff from last week. I understand that, but I try judge it game by game. Thought he was arguably man of the match last week. I thought he was fantastic. Yesterday, I thought he was giving the ball away quite a lot. quite a lot. I thought Salisu, when he was getting tight on him, was doing a good job on him, to be quite honest with you. That high press on his first touch, I didn't think he allowed him any space. So, Connor, do you think we're going to easily stay up? Also, who do we need to bring in as a striker? Listen, mate, I'm not the recruitment guy. People come on here and they always say to me, they're like, Connor, you want us to get another striker? Well, who would you bring in? I don't have dossiers. You know, I've not got like lines and lines of striker options lined up. That's not what I've got. That's not what this channel's about. Victor Orta is a recruitment guy. He's got, analytics, statisticians, people below him. He'll have 20, 30 people below him doing the research for him as well. That's their job. But just off the cuff, mate, I've said before, I think Shea Adams would be a brilliant addition. I think he'd be a really, really good addition. I think he'd compete with Bamford for that number 1 jersey. He'd allow us to switch up the formation as well. And I think he mirrors those. He mirrors the attributes Paddy brings, and he'll be fit for the majority of the season. Don't understand it, but Leeds fans turn the nose up at Shea Adams for whatever reason. They want higher grade. Like we've all said before, recruitment, he's got all these dossiers. That's his job, Victor Orta. Who is going to mirror those attributes? Who's going to be excellent in link-up play? Who's going to be great holding the ball up? He's still a good finisher, is Shea Adams, when he gets those opportunities. Very, very good on instinct. Very good in and around the 6-yard, the 18-yard box. Very, very good in and around there. So, listen, yeah, he might not get 20, 25 goals a season, but he gets a goal contribution every 3 games. So that is someone I'd be looking at. Ollie Watkins, another one. Didn't score yesterday for Aston Villa, but he was brilliant. Watch the game, hold up play, excellent, running in the channels, making the goals. But yeah, okay, let's get on to a little bit more as well. So, Click, I thought he made the difference. I've just mentioned about the striker as well, the holding up the ball. And I think as well, as I've said to you guys with the system, I think where we had a bit of a problem yesterday was Southampton were really simple in what they did in those final 20 minutes. Obviously, they brought on the substitutions, which helped. But what they did was they squeezed up. And that's what Wolves did. This is what I'm talking about. This is exactly what Wolves did in that 20 to 25 minute period. They squeezed up as a team, played a little bit more of a high line, pressed high, and they were wide. As you saw in the second half, there was a complete difference when it came to the width. And that's exactly what you saw last week against Wolves in those first 20, 25 minutes. Nori and Neto were completely hugging the touchline all of a sudden. They didn't set up narrow, but they were hugging the touchline, which obviously is going to hurt Leeds. Southampton did that exact same thing, hence why you started seeing Kyle Walker-Peters getting a lot more joy. Gineppo was decent as well. So I think that's what teams are going to start doing against Leeds. I think they're going to start just pressing up a little bit more and start figuring out the system and pushing wide. And that's what Leeds have got to combat. That's what we've got to figure out. That's what Jesse's got to figure out in terms of this system, because teams are going to start doing that. You've seen about 40 minutes collectively of teams doing it over two games now, and it is effective. So we've got to really mitigate against that. Neil again, not Adams. Okay, who? Tell me who, Neil. Give me another name, mate. Give me another name. And don't base it off him scoring 40 goals a season, because we're Leeds United. We finished 17th last season. We're not going to go out and get a European striker pedigree who's going to score 40 goals a season. It's not going to happen, unfortunately. I'm sure Victor is working his socks off, Connor. I'm sure he is, Mark. I'm sure he is. He is on holiday this week, though, where we do need a striker. But yeah, listen, he's got to have some downtime, as I can attest to, really. What I will say is just a few more bits on and then I'll get into your guys' comments. What I will say is Christensen needs to adapt quickly. For me, I don't know what your guys' opinion is. Listen, we all know that the social media machine that is Leeds United does some fantastic bits, but obviously they're putting him out as the hard man all the time. Every single week, it's Rasmus this, Rasmus that, Rasmus says this, Rasmus hard man this, that, and the other. It almost has a little bit of a Pontus vibe in terms of how Leeds are going about it from a social media perspective. So that's great. That's fantastic. He needs to get up to speed with the Premier League very, very quickly. Very, very quickly. And the exciting thing about that is I don't think there's going to be many people who are going to turn their noses up at Cody Drameh. Cody Drameh, hopefully, in training, is pushing him the whole way, because Drameh has definitely got the attributes. And we saw him in the Premier League, obviously, last season when he played against Arsenal, but then he had a huge portion at Cardiff where he was their player of the year. He was fantastic in the Championship team of the year as well. But he's going to be pushing him the whole way. Rasmus is struggling at the minute. I think it's because he provides the width, obviously, because we're so narrow. But on top of that, he's facing 1v1s. I think he got absolutely done up last week by Neto, who I think Neto is such a good player. So I understand that. But I think Gineppo yesterday taught him a few more lessons. And 1v1 defending, he seems a little bit slow in terms of his reaction time. His turn on the half space as well when a player's about to go past him isn't remarkably quick. And I just look at him and think sometimes maybe his body position has got to be a little bit better when he's coming up against someone who's a lot quicker than him, which he's going to face in the Premier League. But I think twice now in the Premier League against Wolves and Southampton, who you would turn around and say haven't got the best wingers in the league. They really haven't. He's maybe struggling with someone not helping him out on that side, which we used to see with Marcelo Bielsa. You know, you'd have the two almost doubling up on their winger. You're not going to see that in a Jesse Marsch system. It's going to be 1v1. And he really, really, really struggled yesterday. And I think he really, really struggled against Wolves as well. Listen, it's not going to be popular because people want me to come on and go, Rasmus, hard man. Ugh. And I understand that. I am nowhere near throwing him out at all. I'm fully behind him, fully supportive. But what I will say is if performances like that continue, where teams are getting joy down that side, they're going to start targeting it. Best believe you can get Thomas Tuchel thinking, yeah, we can get at him. We can really, really get at him. You're going to get Brighton doing the exact same and Everton. So he needs to adapt quickly. Unfortunately, this is a ferocious environment when it comes to Premier League football. It really is. And the level is so much higher than what it will have been in Brendan Aronson's other league, Tyler Adams' other league, obviously, Rasmus's other league, Rocker's other league. So that level up, I mean, you're getting, mid-table to lower bracket teams with top wingers. So it's going to be difficult. It's going to be really, really difficult. But it's going to be interesting to see throughout the season how the Cody Drameh and the Christensen dynamic starts to work now. Because I think in training, Drameh will be really pushing him. And I understand he's the summer signing. I understand Dortmund were looking at him. And I understand all these attributes. For me, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Football is a meritocracy. If you're in training week in, week out, or if you're playing, obviously, week in, week out, and there is a change that needs to be made, you make that change. And I'm not saying change Rasmus. I'm not. I'm saying he needs to adapt quickly, because performances like that can't continue. He's getting done way too easily. And we've got to beat Rasmus with the same stick as we beat all the other players with. It doesn't matter that he's a summer signing and the social media team absolutely loves him. That doesn't matter. You've got to really judge him on a game-by-game basis. Okay, Derek says Rasmus wasn't good at all. He needs to up his game quickly. He does, mate, because he's going to be coming up against... Obviously, he's had Neto, he's had Gineppo, but, I mean, who's he going to be coming up against in the next couple of weeks? You're looking at, Raheem Sterling? Going to be coming up against Raheem Sterling. And then when we're playing Brighton, he could be coming up against Trossard. Ben says, Bielsa was more 1v1 than Marsch, Connor, mate. We double up and triple up on players. This is why sometimes they get players if they beat our press. No, I understand that, mate. I understand in the Bielsa system it was 1v1, man v man. But what you would notoriously see, even in the Bielsa system, is you would get the wingers helping out the fullbacks. And I understand it was 1v1 all over the pitch, but normally you would get a Rafinha coming back to help. You would get a Jack Harrison coming back to help the fullback. That's what you would get. Whereas in the Marsch system, it does look like when it comes to a winger situation, there isn't as much emphasis on the winger to help the fullback. I think that's obvious in the first two games, to be honest. Let's have a look. Some of you guys are saying get into Rasmus will be great. Just watch. I hope you're right, Santana, and you will be right. I think you will be okay. I just think he's got to adapt quickly. Les says the defence is still very dodgy. There is going to be a few beatings. I can't disagree with that, Les. I think we're going to win games. I think we'll be all right this season. I really do. I think we'll be absolutely fine. But I do think I agree with you, mate. I think there are going to be because good teams are going to expose it. Because what we do is naturally when you've got a compact system, when you've got the back two here, when you've got Robin Koch and you've got Llorente, you got the back two here, you got Strout pushing forward, and we saw this against Wolves, we saw this Southampton as well. Where are they hurting us every single time? When the fullbacks are pushing up, they're hurting us on the wings. So it's what Wolves did, it's what Southampton did. When Bielsa's teams used to get hurt centrally, Marsch's teams will get hurt out wide. So when you're pushing the fullbacks up, when you're trying to press up, when you're playing a high line, if you're an opposition team, you clip the ball. into the channels, clip the ball into the channel, clip the ball into the channel, clip the ball into the channel. It's what Wolves did in that period. It's what Southampton started to do. They started running off the centre-backs, clipping the ball into the channels. That is exactly what teams are going to do against Leeds throughout the entire season. So we need, obviously, our press will hurt a lot of teams. Our press will be very, very effective. We will win games, but there is absolutely no doubt out wide Leeds are going to get hurt this season by some top-quality teams. Welcome back, you legend. Thanks, mate. Hope you're good. Afternoon, Joe. Hope you're okay. Lewis F need a pacey centre half to counter the counter attack. I wouldn't argue with that, mate. I really wouldn't. I think we're seeing that now, aren't we? When we're playing that high line and those balls are going to be going in over the top and into the channels, we do need recovery speed. I don't think we've got that at the minute. I really don't. Hussam Oar Nottingham Forest. Yeah, Forest are making some mad signings. They're making some big moves. I think Dennis and Oar will be top signings. I think Morpay, I don't know, there's potential for him to be good, but yeah, I don't think a lot of people are worried about that. The thing with Forest is it's going to be with all of these signings that they're going to be able to transition into that side quickly. They're going to have a massive squad. They've got to stay up as well, otherwise they're done. Connor, do we start Cooper over Llorente against Chelsea? The back line needs a clear leader. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if he's available, mate, but this is why it's just embarrassing that we're not going out and getting a left-back, isn't it? Because, you know, you literally could put Pascal centre-back. It's just mental. Pascal centre-back with Robin Koch, but we're not doing things the easy way. Pascal's going left-back, which I think he's all right, but the mobility is going to affect him. The recovery speed's going to affect him. We know that. He's 6'4", for goodness sake. I would probably like to see a little bit more of a diminutive centre-back in Yelder go left-back, someone who's maybe a little bit more natural there, and then Strout to go centre-back. Cooper, I don't mind Cooper, but he'll get exposed against the better teams. I think we're coming up against Chelsea, better team, Brighton, better team than who we've faced so far. So I think in those games, Coops might get exposed a little bit. But a lot of people think that he's not. A lot of people think when Cooper comes in, we're much better. So yeah, I don't know really. I don't know. Right, guys, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. How you feel about Pascal on the left? I feel like I've just said that, mate. But yeah. D says your description of Rasmus sounds like Firpo, which is worrying. D, the thing is, we've got to. This is what I mean, but with the social media stuff, I understand there's stuff behind Rasmus, like, oh, really hard man, Leeds, this, that, and the other. But for me, he's just judged as every other Leeds player is judged on. You know, I judged Firpo within about 3 games and said this, that, and the other. I was really excited by him at the start. You can't just because it's Rasmus and because it's a big signing and because you love him and he loves Leeds and he screams and shouts and celebrates and all this sort of stuff. You can't just give him a longer length than you would do Firpo. There's no, I'm not, and by the way, you've compared Firpo to him there. You know, you've said that it sounds a little bit like him. And I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that for a second. But you have got to judge a player on what you judge another player by. You know, you can't just have that affinity with another player. You've got to judge him on performances, is what I'm saying. Bully B says, you're right, Connor. He's not as good as everyone makes out. Drama could be twice a player. There should definitely be competition there. But I think the thing is, people won't call it out on platforms and all this sort of stuff because they don't want to offend the majority of Leeds fans who obviously, you know, think that whatever certain players do, they'll get credit. You know, Matthias Klick, another one. We saw the tackle, didn't we? And I want to bring this up as well. We saw the tackle in pre-season training on Tyler Adams. I love that shit. I love that. So what? You know, Matthias Klick made a tackle on Tyler Adams. You're getting people, you know, normally, you know, kids who've never played football, you know, kids on the internet and all this sort of stuff. It's a horrible tackle. It's this, that, and the other. It's not a horrible tackle at all. That's what you need in training. Training should be competitive. Tell you what, my training was competitive. You know what I mean? If you put in a few reducers on people, that's what happens. You get up as mates afterwards. You laugh it off. You shake hands, and you know, you go for a beer or whatever. It is what it is. Seen so many snowflakes online who didn't like the fact that Matthias Klick put a tackle in on Tyler Adams. That's what I love. Do you think Roy Keane was backing out of tackles when he was playing for Scum back in the day? Absolutely no chance. Do you think David Batty was pulling out of tackles when he was playing for Leeds United? Do you think Lucas Radaby was? Absolutely no chance. No chance. That's training. That's competition. That's exactly what Matthias Klick should be doing. I love that shit. I love it, and I hope he does it next week. Obviously, I don't want it to be violent. I don't want him to be, you know, going up in the air and scissor kicking him and breaking Tyler Adams' leg. But a little reducer in there. Love that. Absolutely love that. And fair play to him. I don't understand why Leeds fans were getting so upset about that one. But yeah, I just wanted to touch on that as well because it was getting so much bizarre sort of bizarre sort of stuff. And what I was trying to say is, online it was getting some bizarre sort of reaction. And what I'm trying to say is, if that wasn't Matthias Klick, if that was Mark Rocker, if that was Rasmus Christensen making the tackle, that was one of the new boys, everybody's saying, love that competition, love what he's doing there. He's leads him, he makes those big tackles. So Matthias Klick makes the tackle, and then you get a tirade of abuse for him on social media. I've said before, I'm not the massive fan of Matthias Klick, but as I said, I will give everybody their fair dues. And listen, I just didn't understand that. Didn't understand that whatsoever. Jaguar Skills, hiya mate. Nice to see you back, Connor. You've been missed. And another thing, God, I need to start reading these comments before I put them on screen. No comment, mate. No comment. But thank you. Hi Justin, hope you're all right. Michael says, Connor, that tackle went into Tyler's knee, seconds from ligament damage. Nah, it's not, mate. It's not. He didn't. Oh my God. I don't understand. Like, he's just, all he did, Tyler Adams waits for him, can see him coming, slows down. Then Matthias just goes in with a little bit of a nudge, gets his foot in there. It's not a malicious tackle. It's not. Like, what is happening with football? I couldn't play the game. I could not play the game. I'd be sent off every week. Me and my brother were talking about it the other day. I'd be sent off every week. Every tackle you go into, he just went in on him. Just got. Adams gets up straight away. Doesn't care. I can't believe how soft some people are when it comes to this stuff. Listen, everyone's entitled to their opinion. I get it. Not how soft some people are, how soft football is getting. It's mental. Couldn't play the game. Rory says, I missed the first two games. Wondering how you think Adams and Rocker are working in midfield. I think they're good, mate. I think they're good. I like the balance between them both. One is a ball-winning midfielder. The other is a distributor. I love Rocker. I think Rocker's been fantastic. Really good at distributing out wide. Obviously, really good at even just making it into the central spaces. Fantastic. I think Adams has really impressed me as well. Really impressed me. There's no bones about it. I would have preferred Mo Kamara, who's about to go to Monaco for 15 million. But overall, Tyler's been really, really good. I've liked the balance between them two. I like his competitiveness as well. I think he's really up for it. He's in the referee's ear, which we don't have enough of. We have too many nice players. But I think overall he's been really good. I think they've both been really, really impressive. As I've said, out of all of them, I think Rocker and Adams are the ones that I'm looking at and thinking, yeah, really good, really, really good. So yeah, massively impressed with those two, buddy. Let's have a look. I hate to say it, but I thought from his first game against Brisbane that Rasmus was clumsy. Okay, attacking, but not good in defence. We need two proper backs. The narrow system does not work in the press. Pre-press. I think I know what you mean. I know what you mean when it came to looking at Rasmus in pre-season. But as everybody said, we do have to give him a chance. We do have to support him. It's only 2 games in. He just needs to adapt a little bit quicker, to be honest with you, mate. Lois, I always get your name wrong. Good to see you back, mate. Hope you're okay. Counter-attack is our problem. Steve says should have 6 points, but more than happy with the 4 positives outweigh the negatives, but we defo need a striker and a left back. Yeah, exactly, mate. And I think just how poor Southampton were is the problem. They were just dreadful. They were absolutely dreadful, and we've spunked a 2-0 lead up the wall. So that's my big issue with it. Gabe in the building, hi mate. Connor has fired up as the first half high press. I think fans have injury PTSD are regarding the Klick tackle. Exactly. I mean, I've just seen someone earlier, fair play, but someone earlier saying, what if that had happened to Joe Gelhardt and that causes injury? But this is football. It's football. It's a contact sport. If that Matthias Klick tackle is a horror tackle, what are we going to be witnessing this season? What do they do in training? Just bubble wrap each other, not tackle each other. It's not about being a hard man. It's nothing about that. It's about competitive. You've got to be competitive in training. You've got to be. I couldn't believe the reaction. 4 points in 2 matches today. Should have won, but have to feel more pluses at this point than negative. Yeah, I agree. I think so. I think it's 4 points out of 6. I think the litmus test is going to come, obviously, with Chelsea and Brighton, 2 really tough games there. But you can't really complain. We're seeing a system there. We're seeing a lot of positives, and I'm enthused about it, everybody. I am. I'm just reviewing the game yesterday. Obviously, I've been away for 10 days. I'm reviewing a few things, as you can tell. The Klick tackle definitely got my back up. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed it, everyone. We will be back tomorrow with the debrief. The debrief is going to be back in full swing. Like that little plug there. If you want to join the Patreon account, we'll be back with all the Patreon content next week, everybody. 2 videos per week. If you want to join, they will be on Tuesday and Thursday. Thank you to all the Patreon members who are still there and thereabouts. I think we've got over 130 members now. Thank you for supporting the channel. Keep making sure you're liking the videos. If you don't like this video, it doesn't show up in the algorithm, so your mates won't see it, your dad won't see it, your mum, whoever. And the YouTube algorithm works like that. If you don't like the video, other people don't see it. It's a bit bizarre. But thank you for your support. Really appreciate it. It's 12:30 on a very baking hot Sunday, and there's been, I think this video's got to over 900 people. So thank you so much, and we will see you in a bit, everybody. Cheers.